He says all the time that Simon Cowell never cries. He is the tough guy who has made stars and broken dreams without an ounce of trouble. But he almost cried the first time he heard Courtney Hadwin sing. From the outside, Courtney's trip looked simple, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And America's Got Talent was the start of it all. Let's talk about Courtney's journey to the show before we get into her time on AGT. Courtney came into the world on July 6, 2004, and grew up in Hesleden, a small village that used to be a mine town near Hartlepool in County Durham in the northeast of England. Along with her younger brothers Paul and Melissa, she was raised by her parents Paul and Anne-Marie. Courtney's life has always had music in it, like the lives of many great young singers. As a kid, she started singing at home. As she got older, she tried her hand at musical theater, and then listened to covers to find out what she liked about her voice. To be honest, she didn't really start to want to sing until she saw Connie Talbot on Britain's Got Talent. Courtney says she started singing properly when she was 9 or 10 years old. When she was 11, she sang "Say Something" by A Great Big World and Christina Aguilera at a lunchtime open mic while going to Hesleden Primary School, and soon after starting at the school at Shotton Hall. When that video was put on Facebook, it quickly went popular in that area. Her classmates were amazed by how well she could sing, and many of them told her right away that she should explore her emotional power. She did exactly what they said. She loved writing and singing songs after all. Later, Courtney's grandfather told her that she started busking in public places to make money for singing lessons and family trips. She didn't make much money, but she was able to take lessons at Shotton Hall Theatre School, Peanuts Master Classes, Kate Sir's School of Music, and Vocal Ovation by Julie Miles. But she didn't compete in a big show until 2015, when she was on Teen Star UK and Newcastle. Here, she made it to the grand final with a performance of Bob Dylan's "Make You Feel My Love." Her unique sound helped her get noticed right away. The next year, when she was 12, Courtney won Hartlepool's Talent of the Year award and made it to the Beyond the Lights Award ceremony's finals. She also tried out for Open Mic UK in 2016 and sang "Nothing Compares to You" as part of her growing popularity on local shows. In the same summer, she opened for Sister Sledge at the South Tyneside Festival, which drew over 18,000 people. This was a big moment that showed what many people were already thinking. She wasn't like other neighborhood performers. She was going to be famous one day. When the following year came around, Courtney was back on another show. This time it was The Voice Kids UK. She got a spot on Danny Jones's team because of her powerful performance of Tina Turner's "Not Bush City Limits." She got to the battle round by singing "Dancing in the Street." In the semifinals, she sang "I Got You, I Feel Good" by James Brown. In the final, she sang "I Am Telling You I'm Not Going," which made her a winner. During these early years, Courtney became known for working hard all the time. She did voice exercises every day. She started taking lessons when she was 11 years old and kept going through her teens. These formative years, which began in a small town and were strengthened by open mic nights, competitions, and live shows all over northern England, shaped not only her performance style, but also her drive to succeed. And the fact that she had a strong group of people who wanted to see her succeed made it even better. From the very beginning, Courtney's family has been there for her and helped her along her artistic path. Her mother saw Courtney's raw talent and said the performance was even better than she had hoped. To support her dream, her father got a side job delivering pizzas and helped pay for gas so Courtney could drive all over the Northeast to auditions and open mics. In fact, her family moved to Los Angeles to be there for her when she competed on The Voice Kids UK and then AGT. Her father especially traveled back and forth, so she could participate while still going to school. Courtney's family was always there for her, even when she had TV shows, record deals, and attention from all over the world. In public, she says they kept her grounded, reminded her of home, and helped her keep her love instead of turning it into stress. Their faith in her, not her fame or awards, gave her a strong base that helped her words reach people on other continents. Even though Courtney's heart was still in Hesleden, she had built up enough energy and fame by early 2018 thanks to this support that she was asked to try out for season 13 of America's Got Talent. That invitation wasn't because someone in the family wanted to try out for Britain's Got Talent. It was apparently from show producers looking for talent from around the world. It was great for Courtney when she was young. But she had no idea that it would be the moment in her life when she went from being a neighborhood star to being famous all over the world. Big city, big hopes. Courtney was a quiet, almost shy schoolgirl from County Durham, England, when she went on America's Got Talent. She was only 13. Awkward and scared, she didn't look like a star at all. Then the first sounds of Hard to Handle by Otis Redding played, and everything changed. Only she had a voice like that, raspy, strong, and past her years. The awkward schoolgirl who had walked through the curtains was gone as it went off in the studio. A new Courtney took her place. Full control, wild energy, and gritty singing. The crowd couldn't keep their cool. How could a girl this young have such a strong voice, was the big question nobody could answer. Simon himself couldn't fight the pull. He was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Then his famous poker face cracked, and the words, "Nobody forgot," fell out of his mouth. "When you first came out, you were very shy. You sound like a lion when you sing." The first person to respond was Howie Mandel, who pressed the golden button to send Courtney to the live shows. After that, he said that her voice was from a different time. He even thought of Janis Joplin, who is one of the best blues rock singers of all time. But Howie wasn't the only one who thought she was brilliant. Her audition video went popular in just a few hours. When Tyra Banks later brought her on the show, the video had already been seen more than 310 million times. Isn't it crazy? Fans all over the world were already calling her a giant among her peers, or even a phenomenon, by the time the quarterfinals began. We were lucky to have Courtney as a singer because those days are over. She made it to the quarterfinals and then the semifinals, where she gave electrifying performances that made it hard to tell the difference between a kid performer and an old soul performer. By the finals, she had fans all over the world. But in the end, she couldn't take the crown home with her. Many people were really surprised when she came in 6th place overall. Still, AGT was the big break she needed. It exposed her to people in the United States and gave her a stage around the world. She later came back to perform on AGT, the champions in 2019, but her path had already changed by then. This wasn't Simon's golden buzzer that got her to the live shows, but he had something more exciting planned. Soon after the 2018 live shows were over, he signed her to his label Psycho Music with Arista. Courtney, who was 13 at the time, was now on her way to becoming a singing star. But balancing fame and money isn't easy, and the pressure of the business quickly became too much for a 13-year-old to handle. There was a lot of interest. In the middle of 2018, Courtney had just left the AGT stage to a shower of flowers. The whole world was already looking at her. But the business world needed more than just a moment that went viral. They wished for a star. Instant fame came next pretty quickly. Her interview was shown on talk shows and news shows all over the world. People in the news called her the next Janis Joplin, the British soul star, or even the legendary 13-year-old singer. All of a sudden, she became well known in the US and quickly became interesting in the UK. The deal that changed Courtney's life came in December. Courtney signed a long-term music and publishing deal with Psycho Music. And later, she talked about how she felt like people around me were telling me what I should sound like and who I should be. She also talked about how she felt like she lost control of her life as her early teens passed by while she was in studios. It was both exciting and tiring. She planned to record originals, shoot promotional materials, and stay ready for the media while she traveled between the UK and the US. It was too much for a kid who still lived at home. It all seemed strange and lonely. Fans on YouTube and in messages said nice things about her raw energy, but Courtney was having a hard time feeling in charge of her job. Still, there was a lot of early talk. The energy she had, her stage appearance, and the mature grit in her voice all impressed the critics. The producers called her a natural force. Writings in the style of Rolling Stone hailed that she came in like a storm. Still, she said in private that she felt like a figure being directed, even when she was singing her own songs. She talked about how many times she had to write with ideas or sounds that she didn't really believe in. Is this me, or is this what they want me to be? She asked herself over and over again. It felt heavy that fame had come so quickly. The world saw a star in the making, but Courtney felt like a teen girl who can't handle her feelings and all the demands that were put on her. What happened next was set off by that strain. Way too soon and too much. Fame is great. It's really great. But imagine you're a teenager who isn't even old enough to drive, and you have to find your way around the music business. It sounds like terrible living, doesn't it? That's because, for Courtney, it was. Do not misunderstand her. She didn't say she didn't like her life, the fruits of her labor, or anything else that came with it. It came too soon and was too much. The moment Courtney joined Psycho Arista, her life turned into a blur very quickly. She had targets, meetings, and recording sessions all the time in the blink of an eye. Not writing songs the way she wants, but on a strict assembly line made to make hits. All of these things were too much for someone who had found happiness in small things like having artistic freedom. We've said many times that she was only 14, but she was already in back-to-back sessions where she had to deliver polished pop soul tracks on short notice. Every day in the UK might start with breakfast, then talks with record company executives at noon, and finally a long haul to a studio in the US in the evening. During those meetings, Courtney often worked with more than one producer who would offer beats, hooks, and themes that she didn't always like. After a while, she thought, everyone around me was telling me who I should be. This was just one example of how business voices often overshadowed her creative input. Courtney quickly began to feel apart from the songs she was recording as she worked with co-writers and production teams. She talked about being angry in talks about how she was forced to sound a certain way. Emotions were tamed, style was filtered, and slick pop music clashed with her rough vocal roots. She was still figuring out who she was as an artist, but she felt like she had to fit in. That stress ate away at her confidence, changing something that used to make her happy into something that didn't. Even though her voice was more grown-up than most college students, her mind was still that of a child. Courtney quickly became mentally worn out. In talks behind the scenes, she talked about feeling overwhelmed. Every week, she closed the show, carrying the energy of the finale, while trying to keep herself together. Even though Howie and friends said nice things, the weight inside felt heavy. She even said she felt alone while traveling between countries and being surrounded by suits. She missed home and real life. This is when the retreat started. It began slowly but steadily. First, there were fewer posts on social media. After that, she became less visible in popular media. Fans were worried, and they quickly started to wonder where she was. There were creative disputes, right? Was she not feeling well? Even worse, there were no public updates to let followers know what was going on. When this was added to media rumors, they started to spread. Did something happen with Courtney? Was she stuck in bed in the hospital? Where did Courtney go? She was still here. She was just hiding to get away from the stress and get back to herself. In later songs, Courtney hinted at angry and honest new music by writing lines like, "You only want me when I'm smiling," which had deeper feelings. She gave hints that there was more honesty, more pain, and more depth to come. With rumors going around, everyone wanted to know what happened to the pretty young girl who strutted onto the stage all those years ago. The stillness between them. The years went by slowly. The business world never stopped talking, but Courtney faded away. As the next season began, Simon began to look for the next big star. Like that, the link between him and Courtney, their relationship, was over. It turned into a deal, and then there was silence. Thoughts from the outside might have made it look like more. But the truth is that Simon never really helped Courtney. He was the executive who cast her and the gatekeeper who signed her. He was also the one who went to public events, made the news, and then left her to go about her business. The guy wasn't even to blame. His job was to find talented people, not deal with the emotional fallout from them. Many people thought that Courtney had bad feelings towards Simon, even though she never said anything in public about them. After all, it was his push that got her to join the label. But she knew how the business worked even when she was a little girl, and she knew that Simon was just a part of it and not her friend. Still, looking back, that omission made sense. She wasn't a young artist to be cared for. She was a product to be controlled. Courtney's use of social media decreased over the next few years. She earned the trust of independent directors, and Kevin Bowe was a big deal. In public, though, it looked like she had vanished. At the same time, Simon went back to his job as judge, boss, and star maker, and he didn't say anything about Courtney's problems. There was no talk about how the system might have broken down. There was only the next test and show. Even though working for a big company wasn't everything it seemed like it would be, Courtney never gave up her love of music. She slowly started to rebuild, write, record, and put out songs on her own. While this was going on, Simon watched on TV and read the news, but he never took responsibility for the weight she carried. Some critics said her new voice was honest and brave, but Simon's public story stayed quiet. In Courtney, she finds her voice again. It's beautiful to get back your freedom when it seems like everyone else only wants to take it away. By 2025, Courtney came back as a different person. She quietly left the AGT fame and her early record deal, and then she came back as an independent artist determined to make music the way she wanted. She took charge of her career by working with Grammy-winning producer Kevin Bowe, who is known for working with Ada James and Joe Cocker. She started to write and record songs that were real, not polished for the radio, but true to how she felt. Some of these were The Girl Don't Live Here, You Only Love Me When I Lie, and Monsters. Each one looks at themes like being open, angry, strong, and finding your own personality. Courtney talked a lot about how different things felt in conversations. No deadlines from the top down, and you don't have to fit a label's mold. "Everyone around me was telling me who I should be," she said. "As an artist, I now know who I am." She called this time a rebirth, and she made music that was in line with her own feelings. Both fans and critics gave good responses. People called her song, "You Only Love Me When I Lie," a raw blues soul anthem. The reviews said it was her most emotionally powerful song yet, full of the tension of secret pain and the courage to tell the truth. People have even said that her bigger project, Little Miss Jagged, which comes out on September 12, 2025, is her bravest and most personal work yet. Fans were really into it, and a video performance of "You Only Love Me When I Lie," with no mic left people gasping for air. Journalists said she sounded like thunder and burnt like fire, and they praised how real and intense she was. Now that she is 20, Courtney has finally opened up about how her early fame made her feel. Going over burnout, losing control, and the stress she felt from having to perform before she was ready. She talked about how the expectations of the music business made her struggle with who she was. She also talked about how reclaiming her voice felt like reclaiming her strength, how her stage presence returned under her own rules, and how her songs carried scars and resolve. Gone were the times when she tried to get people to cheer. It was now her goal to connect and be seen. Also, Simon can still remember the 13-year-old who caught his attention all those years ago. Recently, a number of popular videos and retrospectives spread the shocking idea that he had finally spoken out about Courtney's work after a long silence. The clips show that he almost never looks weak on camera because he doesn't feel anything. He usually doesn't stop in the middle of an interview, but in these versions, he did. He then sighed, as if he were carrying a weight he hadn't thought about in too long. It was said that he said, "We expected too much too soon," and said in a low voice, "She was a kid. I believe we let her down." They said his voice was broken. His feelings were showing, and he'd lost his cool. Like the judge that millions of people know who can't be swayed. We haven't seen a trustworthy news source or journalist record these comments yet, but it's clear that he knows about her new job path. Still, let's say these claims were true. Imagine Simon thinking quietly about Courtney's public life as a child. He would remember how shocked he was by her audition, and how her energy was so raw that he called her a lion. Then he would remember how quickly that spark turned into a flame that other people tried to shape. He could talk about how work plans took away her freedom to write songs, and how fame made her distant from herself. He may have finally realized that he had put a little girl in a machine that was too big for her. As Courtney got back on track by leaving her record label, writing with Kevin Bowe, and putting out music that felt real again, Simon's supposed admission fades into the background. Some of her songs, like Monsters and You Only Love Me When I Lie, are honest. They take away your hopes and show you the truth. Where is she now? Courtney is more than just the kid who really sang her heart out on America's Got Talent. Now think of her as an artist who is grounded. Now that she is back in the UK, she balances her personal life with singing, goals, family, and being herself. She still lives in County Durham, where she moved a few years ago to find her own freedom after leaving her label. Courtney has fans all over the world, but her heart is still in the northeast of England, where she is said to share a home base with a small but loyal team and still draws strength from her roots there. She still stays in touch with people she used to hang out with in Hessen and Peterlee. She also writes by hand, and in interviews she sometimes says that she gets most creative when she's alone at home with her laptop and her thoughts are organized into lyrics. She has been active on social media ever since she took a break. Courtney is very active online, with more than 1 million followers on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. She is not there to promote herself, but to meet with other people. When she's not busy making something in the studio, she posts behind-the-scenes clips, talks about mental health, workout routines, changes to her hairstyles, like trying out straightened bright red hair, and scenes from her life on the weekends. Fans say that her writing is truly honest and real. She talked about the problems with social media in a live stream this year. She said that TikTok can be too much for her, but she likes YouTube because she can share her songs and life without feeling like she has to. She often has question and answer sessions on Instagram stories, and thanks fans who leave notes. Being honest about her mental health journey is making treatment and self-reflection more common, which is something that a lot of young artists avoid. A lot of the time, her posts are about self-care, growth, and setting limits. She said in an interview that she's excited to finish her record, but not if it means making it perfect. She wants the process to feel real, not staged. After leaving Taos because of creative differences that left possibilities unrealized, she signed with a new management team in early 2025. It was Total Artist Management, led by Oliver Moja. She has been setting up dates in the US and booking gigs in the UK and Europe with her present team. She has played shows in London at places like Fiddler Elbow and is planning bigger trips. One of her best performances was at Carnegie Hall in April 2024, where she opened a dinner with a tribute to Janis Joplin in front of famous people in the music business. A lot of people talked about and praised that moment as proof of how much people respect her as an artist. Courtney's life now revolves around making art and growing as a person. She sometimes goes on trips and sees US studios, but most of the time she is at home writing and recording with Kevin Bowe for her debut album, which will be out in September. Album clips show her experimenting with rock, soul, and punk, and talk shows she's not afraid to change styles between songs on purpose. She jokes that each song is like a mood ring. People who like her know that she is open to change and won't be afraid to show the way. People cheer when she posts a picture of her home office, a messy studio bookshelf, or the song she just wrote for the day. Being honest with her viewers has helped her keep a real connection with them. She's done more than just become famous. They have a character for not being afraid and being honest. Courtney has made it clear that she isn't after fame in 2025. She's taking care of it her own way by living simply, making art in an honest way, and showing the cracks before the shine. She's building more than just a song career by doing this. She wants to tell her story again. One thing that Courtney's journey through the business has taught us is that the entertainment business doesn't seem to be very good at dealing with kid stars or talents. It's already a stressful place for an adult to be. What's that extra charge for someone who isn't even old enough to drive? Courtney was able to get past it though. She hit the noise and came out the other side a different person with a new view on music and life. Even though her path wasn't always easy, her drive and hard work kept her going even when things got tough. What do you think about Courtney's path? Tell us in the space below. Thanks for seeing. If you want to know when we post a new movie, please like and subscribe to the channel.